Hi, I'm Chiara Ocampo and welcome to the Orange Chair. This is where I sit down with the country's top thought leaders and influencers. Hear me as I unpack their stories that will hopefully inspire you, influence you, and inform you. So yeah, join me as I talk to my next guest. Our guest today is none other than the Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer of Union Bank of the Philippines. Let's all welcome Ms. Michelle Rubio.
Hi,
Michelle.
good morning.
Good morning. Please sit down. Hi, Michelle. Again, thank you so much for saying yes to our request. So we'll just keep it light for the first part of the interview to just break the ice. So for someone who is always busy, who has a lot on their mind and on their plate, what's a typical weekend like for you?
So, typical weekend would include running errands, checking what's in the refrigerator, figuring out what we want to eat for the weekend and even for the weekday in the coming week. But it's really mostly about spending time with the family. So, we like to go out, eat out. We're foodies actually, so we want to try out new things, whatever is out there in the metro, and spend the weekend with each other.
Yeah. You have an único hijo. Actually, I'm also an only child. My parents taught me so much. So I'm very curious, what's one thing that you always tell him?
Yeah, I always tell him to go for whatever he wants in life, and we will be there to support him. But actually, he gave in to our wishes because he really loves to cook. So, but my husband and I are both engineers, and we wanted him to have a fallback. So, and he's good in math, right? Very good in math, quite talented in that area. So when he went to the university, he took up material science and engineering and graduated with honors. And then he said to us one day, I did what you told me to do. Can I do my thing? And so he enrolled in culinary school and interned to become a chef. But the pandemic hit and we sent him back home from overseas. In his mind, if I set my heart into something and I'm passionate about it, I can make it work and be successful.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of him.
Yeah. So the apple doesn't really fall far from the tree. And also, it's the same with you because you also had a different track. You were an engineer, but also moved into the field of human resources.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same. And I wanted to ask, just a story, how that happened.
So when I was younger, the inclination was really to use my education and get into engineering work, which I did. But in the course of providing solutions, so I was in the semiconductor manufacturing at that time. I went into process controls and then quality assurance. So I would experiment on how to increase the yield of production. And oftentimes when I would propose a solution, it would involve change management and people. And that led me to HR and then back in manufacturing again. And then when I joined another organization, which is in electrical engineering, that's when I think from then on my career was really focused on human resources.
Yeah. You mentioned in one of your interviews that this is a significant point in your career because you're handling the transformation aspect of your people. Can you tell us how you managed it and basically your reaction when you were asked to spearhead this particular project?
Yeah, actually, the task wasn't given to me. It sort of unfolded, right? a member of the leadership team, you've got to figure out, right? The business landscape is changing, the competitors are changing, the directives to meet the goals are changing. So when you don't really focus on the people aspect, the change is going to fail. It's important to trust in the capabilities of people to contribute. I think people generally want to do a great job at something, and you have to find them a space where they can flourish and grow to enable that dynamic culture to happen. And we know that this is the culture of the bank. And when you ask people, what is it about? It's innovative, it's dynamic, it's agile. You know that that is a product of design, organizational design. It did not just happen overnight.
As someone who's always being looked up to for direction and advice, what's one significant thing your juniors or peers taught you?
Oh, this is commonly said by many leaders, but I also learned this from my team. It's about unlearning, relearning, and learning. Yeah, we cannot be today. We are a product of our past, but I think what is important is moving forward and having that inertia for change. Not just, we are not talking here about the company. It is also within us, right? We need to be adaptive and open, especially in this
It's a fast-paced world.
fast-paced world.
Some might not know this, but you're actually married to Mr. Manny Rubio, who's also...
who's Manny Rubio?
Who's Manny, yes.
Yeah.
And you work under the same conglomerate. So how is it working with your spouse actually under the same conglomerate?
Well, it's interesting because we would be seeing each other in meetings and to have like a different persona, right? At home, like it's strange that in the morning you're in with the family and it's like mom and dad, husband, wife. But when you're in the boardroom, it's not like that. So it's amazing how I think we can have these personas that's independent of our personal lives. And surprisingly, we are able to compartmentalize. Yeah.
As you know, we are celebrating Women's Month, so with the theme #Embrace Equity. Who is a woman who has been an inspiration to your life?
So I've actually reflected about this. Are you familiar with this person, Rosa Henson? Have you heard about her?
Rosa Henson, yeah.
Comfort woman siya.
Oh, wow.
When she was young, during World War II, abducted for 9 months. She was kept by the Japanese soldiers as a comfort woman. I think it's going through that hardship. She raised 3 children and didn't know about her story until she came out in the open, which I thought was maybe she did that because she wanted to protect her family, no matter how much she went through, right? And she put the others first before herself, and carried that pain throughout most of her life. Being there not just for family but also for your work requires a lot, and I think women have to be honored to be able to do many things and be the change that you can for the world.
Yeah. What's one advice you can give to people like myself, also who's still going up the ladder, what's one advice you can give me and the other young women when pursuing a leadership role like yours?
Many
Yeah.
people, not just women, just go with the flow. You have to have a vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself a few years from now? And, try to work on how to get there. So it should be intentional.
So you accomplished a lot in your career already. What's one thing you have yet to tick off your bucket list?
I want to be an entrepreneur.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm planning for that. And I've actually acted on some steps. This I said to you, right? You have to be intentional. So this is the next phase of my life, and it has to do with food, fresh food, farming, and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it. So maybe after corporate, I could reinvent myself.
Since you're, again, very intentional, so what does the next phase look like for you, in your eyes?
Still happy.
That's great, yeah. We now move on to Rapid 7, where we ask our guests 7 rapid-fire questions in under just 1 minute. All right, Michelle, are you ready?
Ready.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert.
Introvert. If you had 1 day left to live, what would be your last meal?
Ooh. Creme brulee.
Oh, dessert.
Hindi man siya meal, diba?
But it's okay, yeah. The smartest person you've ever met?
My husband.
A word to describe the future of HR?
Dynamic.
If you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?
Home.
And lastly, what for you is true culture building?
Evolving.
With that, thank you so much, Michelle, for guesting on the Orange Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Flowers for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. With Michelle's story, we learned that anything is possible if you don't give up and if you are intentional. Join us on the next episode of The Orange Chair.